I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Douglas Ducote Show. You had many places to be tonight, but you chose to be here with me, and for that I am forever grateful. To all of you who accepted my call to action on last Tuesday's show, along with the same of many other news personalities, like to say thank you because you all reached out, thousands and thousands of people, not just from my subscribers, but subscribers to other YouTube conservatives, about Omar being removed off of her committee. And I'm very happy to say that because of we the people sticking together and reaching out to these members of Congress and to Senator McCarthy's website and email and phone numbers and all the calls y'all did and social media you did, it worked. And she is no longer on any House committee. And that is tonight's lead story, which will, there's also another story tonight that we're going to be covering after this one that is pretty damn shocking, that's actually going on right now as we speak. Okay, the Republican-led House of Representatives voted today to pass a resolution to remove Democrat Representative Omar from the powerful House Foreign Affairs Committee. House Republicans had argued Omar should not serve on the committee in light of past statements she made related to Israel, and in some cases being criticized by members of both parties as anti-Semitic. Democrats have criticized the push to oust Omar, arguing it amounts to an act of political revenge and that the Minnesota Democrat has been held accountable for her past remarks. No, she hasn't. The party line vote was 218 to 211. GOP Representative David Joyce of Ohio voted present. And if you're in Ohio and he happens to be your representative, don't vote that summage back in office. Omar was defiant in her floor speech ahead of the vote. She said, "My leadership and voice will not be diminished, and I am not on this committee for one term. My voice will get louder and stronger," she said. So take your vote or not, I'm here to stay, and I'm here to be a voice against harms around the world and advocate for a better world, the congresswoman said. House Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries accused Republicans of seeking political revenge. I will move immediately to seat Representative Omar on the House Budget Committee, where she will defend democratic values against right-wing extremists, Jeffries tweeted after the House vote. The action by House Republicans comes after House Speaker Kevin McCarthy officially denied seats on the House Intelligence Committee to Democrat Representative Eric Swalwell and Adam Schiff, the former chairman of the panel, a discussion that was then condemned by Democrats. McCarthy vowed last year that if Republicans won back the House majority, he would strip Schiff, Swalwell, and Omar of committee assignments, arguing that Democrats created a new standard when they held the majority by removing Republicans Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia and Paul Goshner of Arizona from committees for violating rhetoric and posts that they had made. House Republicans, now in the majority, have given Green and Goshner committee assignments for the new Congress. In 2019, Omar issued a public apology after she faced a backlash of tweets condemning on both sides of the aisle. The apologies came after the Minnesota Democrat faced widespread criticism after suggesting that Republican support for Israel is fueled by donations from the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, a prominent pro-Israel group. There have been other incidents as well. In 2021, a group of Jewish House Democrats accused Omar of equating the U.S. and Israel with the Taliban and Hamas. The Palestinian militant group, designated as a terrorist organization by the U.S. representatives. Green and Goshner, who will now have committees assignments, have also faced criticism from both sides of the aisle. And last year, Republican leaders in Congress condemned both lawmakers for speaking at supposedly a white nationalist conference. Green spoke of the American First Policy Action Conference in Orlando, Florida, an event founded by the far-right activist Nick Fuentes as an alternative to the annual Conservative Political Action Conference. Goshner appeared at the American First Political Action Conference via a pre-recorded video, according to the Huffington Post. Goshner also attended the same conference last year. Green defended her appearance in a lengthy statement dismissing the blowback as fake divisions and disingenuous allegations, and proclaimed that she won't be canceled. Other conservatives, even if she finds their statements tasteless, misguided, or even repulsive at times. 2021, Green apologized for her offensive comments, comparing Capitol Hill mask-wearing rules to the Holocaust after visiting the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. Omar, Schiff, and Swalwell have pushed back in reaction to McCarthy's effort to strip them of their committee seats. Kevin McCarthy's pure partisan moves to strip us from our committee is not only a political stunt, but also a blow to the integrity of our democracy, institution, and threat to our national security. Omar said in a recent press conference where she spoke alongside Schiff and Swalwell. She didn't mention national security with Swalwell sleeping with a Chinese spy, did she? Or marrying her brother to get into this country? Or her referring to the United States military as terrorist? Nah, none of that shit gets mentioned, does it? Democrats have also argued the move is hypocritical by pointing to the fact that embattled GOP Representative George Santos, who is facing mounting legal issues and growing calls to resign for extensively lying about his resume and identity, have been awarded seats on 2 committees. In an abrupt change in course, however, Santos told the House GOP conference today, behind closed doors, that he wants to be taken off of those 2 committees until these issues are resolved. 3 members, and this was reported by CNN that he did this. And personally, as far as I'm concerned, he shouldn't be on any committee. In fact, he shouldn't even be a member of Congress because he lied about everything. He lied about his resume. He lied about where he was from. He lied about his heritage. I mean, there's nothing in his resume other than his name, and that's even partly lied about because we're finding out other names this guy went under. So until we see his birth certificate, who knows what his real name is? McCarthy has the power to unilaterally block Schiff and Swalwell from serving on the House Intelligence Committee because it's a select committee. Ousting Omar, however, from the House Foreign Affairs Committee required a vote of the full House of Representatives. McCarthy told CNN Tuesday evening that he had the votes to oust Omar. The assertion came after House GOP leaders worked to lock down the votes after several members of their conference has signaled resistance to the move, which we talked about on Tuesday night's show. One of those Republicans was Representative Victoria Spratz of Indiana. She announced Tuesday that she is now prepared to support the resolution to oust Omar, Tuesday night that is, citing the addition of due process language. I appreciate Speaker McCarthy's willingness to address legitimate concerns and add due process language to our resolution. You know, language. All you have to do is look at what she says about the Jewish people. Look what she says about Israel. Look what she says about 9/11 that happened here in America. And look what she says about our U.S. military and our veterans. And if all that combined together doesn't say the woman needs to be no place in our Congress, then there's something wrong with you. And maybe you should seek out some type of mental health, because you're batshit fucking crazy if you think that her comments are warranted as a member of our Congress. They're not. It's a shame what she says. And she's not alone. There's many of other idiots that we send to Washington, D.C. Deliberations and debate are vital for our institution, not top-down approaches, the Congresswoman said in a statement. Sparks had previously indicated that she opposed the effort to remove the 3 Democrat lawmakers from committees. Democrat-led House voted in 2021 to remove Marjorie Taylor Greene from committee assignments in the wake of unearthed and violent past statements. The Democrat-led House also voted that year to approve a resolution that censored Goshner and stripped him of committee assignments, in a rebut to the Arizona Republican for posting a photoshopped video, an anime video, to social media that showed him appearing to kill Democrat Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and attacking President Joe Biden. Now, yes, it was a meme type thing. It was fake. It wasn't real. But I agree, that's pretty damn bad. It shouldn't happen. Democrats shouldn't do it. Republicans shouldn't do it. Nobody should do it. 2 House Republicans voted with Democrats at the time to pass a resolution back then. So bottom line, which is what I've been saying for the past several years, be careful what you wish for, members of the Democrat Party up in Congress. Because the time was going to come, the Republicans control the House again, and that the tables would be turned. And bigger than Dallas, the tables have been turned upside down on your ass. You knew it was going to happen. Hell, it's called history. It happens every time, doesn't matter which party it is, starts doing something outside of the norm towards the other party that's not in charge. And when that party does become in charge, they go back and retaliate. So give it politicalness or not, doesn't matter. In Omar's case, this has nothing to do with politicalness. In Swallowsville case has nothing to do with that. In Schiff's case has nothing to do with that. It's about horrible shit. Schiff is a liar, repeatedly lying to the American public about everything he investigated when he was in the House with Donald Trump. Swalwell slept with a Chinese spy. And Omar is an anti-American, American military-hating bigot. Pretty damn simple if you ask me. Simple fact is that you were all okay when Nancy Pelosi, Speaker at that time, removing Republicans from committees. Yet now you're not okay with Speaker McCarthy doing it the same, which shows your hypocrisy in color. So, because of that vote today, and I recommend that when you have a free few minutes, it's only 5 minutes long, it's worth your time to go watch because it's fucking funny. And it's right here on YouTube. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, aka AOC, had a 2-year-old childish meltdown directed at the congressional Republicans on the House Thursday in response to the vote to boot Representative Alejandro Omar off the House Foreign Affairs Committee. AOC declared to her fellow members that the Republican Party was targeting women of color. with its voice to oust Omar, which Republicans said was due to her past anti-Semitic and anti-American remarks and have nothing to do with the color of her skin, you stupid liberal idiot. AOC also accused Republicans of hypocrisy and said, I think one of the things that we should talk about here is one of the disgusting legacies after 9/11 has been the targeting and racism against Muslim Americans throughout the United States of America, AOC added. And this is an extension of that legacy. Of course, the Republicans are saying it's consistency. We're just doing what we're supposed to do. And she said, consistency, there is nothing consistent with the Republican Party's continued attack, except for the racism and incitement of violence against women of color in this body. I had a member of the Republican caucus threaten my life, and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments in this Congress, AOC said. Angrily, she continued, don't tell me this is about consistency. Don't tell me that this is about a commendation of anti-Semitic remarks when you have a member of the Republican caucus who has talked about Jewish space lasers, whatever the hell that is, an entire amount of tropes, and also elevated her to some of the highest committee assignments in this body. At the climax of her speech, AOC declared, this is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. And she yelled, don't tell me because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened. The Congresswoman then smacked her notebook against the podium and walked off. Again, tonight after the show, look it up right on YouTube and watch her give her speech. You will laugh your ass off. It is literally like a 2-year-old not getting their way in Toys R Us. And it's full of lies, no merit, bullshit. Because nothing she says has anything to do with why those 3 members of Congress were removed. Some of AOC's critics took issue with her invocation of color, noting that, oh, guess what? White men, Representative Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell, were removed from their committees as Republicans took the majority. And doubling down, they don't have brown skin, and they're not what? Muslims. So doesn't make sense, does it, AOC? Their whole point doesn't make any sense, does it, AOC? Dear AOC, besides Omar's continued verbal assault against the Jewish people in Israel, she refers to American military and military veterans as the real terrorists on this planet. You uneducated, liberal, socialist, communist threat to American democracy, subhuman freak. Good gosh almighty. How in the hell did the people of Minnesota send Omar up there and the people of New York do the same with people like AOC? I don't get it. Fox News is reporting tonight that the FBI is expected to search the home of former Vice President Mike Pence in the coming days for any potential classified documents. The FBI and a representative for Pence would not confirm a potential search, which is believed to be consensual. However, Fox News is told by a source within the FBI that they will conduct a search of his home and his office, although timing is unclear. In recent months, classified material turned up along many places, beginning in August of 2022, when when documents were found in Donald Trump's possession during a raid of his home in Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida. Former president denies the documents in his possession were classified, arguing that as a president, he had the authority to declassify them, and he claims he did. There's also current investigation underway into documents found in President Biden's Delaware home, his office, his garage, his underwear up his ass, down his throat, and his desk drawer wrapped up in socks. They're all over the fucking place. Literally. Most recently, Pence found classified documents in his home and reported to the FBI, pledging full cooperation with any future investigation. So, dear FBI, here's a thought from Douglas Ducote. Do an unannounced, get a warrant from a judge, just like you did for Donald Trump. Do an unannounced warrant search for the same at the offices and homes of former President George W. Bush, his vice president, former Dick Cheney, former President Barack Hussein Obama, former President Bill Clinton, his vice president, former Vice President Al Gore, and former President Jimmy Carter. Let's go after them all, because you know what they have in their possession. Oh, but wait, my bad. It's too late, because they've surely put their papers through a shredder and then took those shredded pieces of paper and placed them in their fireplace to burn up. And if they didn't, they are literally the stupidest human beings to walk planet Earth. House Oversight and Accountability Committee Chairman James Comer, Republican, Kentucky, is probing special presidential envoy for climate John Kerry and his secretive negotiations with his Chinese counterparts. Comer informed Kerry in a letter sent this afternoon that the committee, under his leadership, has opened an investigation into Kerry's role in the Biden administration and, in particular, his high-level climate negotiations with the Chinese Communist Party. To date, Kerry has ignored information and document requests from all committee Republicans that were sent when they were the minority. He didn't even respond to them because the majority, at the time, the Democrats, told him he doesn't have to. To date, you failed to respond to any of our requests, Comer wrote to Kerry. Yet, you continue to engage in activities that could undermine our economic health, skirt congressional authority, and threaten foreign policy under the guise of climate advocacy. So we have no idea what the hell he's talking to the Chinese about. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it has nothing to do with climate change, because China doesn't give a shit about our climate. They're the number one polluter on planet Earth. That's right, more so than we are. The committee requests documents and information to understand your role and provide necessary transparency over your activities. They continued, as a member of the president's cabinet, you should be representing the United States interests. Your statements, however, consistently show disregard for American national security and taxpayer dollar. President Biden appointed Kerry to be the U.S.'s SPEC, a position that had previously did not exist and which didn't require Senate approval. Shortly after taking office in early 2021, the SPEC office is housed at the State Department and has an annual budget of $13.9 million and 45 people working under him. And we don't know what he does. There's no transparency. All we know is he communicates with China on a regular basis. And oh, by the way, if you haven't heard, in just this week, We've had 2 military generals that are active duty, not retired, not served 30, 40 years ago as correspondents for any news organization. No, active duty military generals with stars on their freaking shoulders that have come out and announced to their troops, start preparing yourself for a armed conflict with China by 2025, because they believe that's where we're headed, to a full-on military war with China, who Biden and his son Hunter do all kinds of deals with. And Kerry supposedly getting millions of dollars to talk about climate change with them. Yes, that's right. Something's going on over there. And I don't think it has a damn thing to do with emissions. Just my personal thought. Could be wrong. Since taking on the role, he has traveled worldwide, attending high-profile summits and diplomatic engagements in an effort, supposedly, at pushing global transitioning from fossil fuels to green energy alternatives, which is something China's just going to jump right in and do. I mean, come on, man. There's no fucking way China gives 2 shits what we say about anything. They own us. They own us. Pick any item in your house and turn it upside down. Next time you're in Walmart or any store, look on the tag where your shit's made from that you're fixing to buy. Hell, 90% of every product comes from where? China. If it ain't China, it's Japan. If it ain't Japan, it's Vietnam. It's foreign countries. Despite the high-level role leading the Biden administration's global climate strategy, Kerry's office has been tight-lipped about its internal operations and who the staff members are, sparking criticism from Republicans who have demanded transparency for such an important office. We're left with an insufficient understanding of your office's activities, spending, and staffing. We don't know what you do, other than the American taxpayer is giving you $13 million. Oh, my Lord, oh, my Lord, my Lord. The Oversight Committee chairman added that Kerry has been too soft on China's human rights violations while promoting climate negotiations at the CCP, does not appear interested in entering. Kerry has been blasted by various comments that have appeared to downplay vast human rights abuses tied to China's green energy supply chain after he was asked in November 2021 about slave labor reported employed by solar panel firms in China. That's right. The green energy we want to go to, the solar panels, they're not made here in America. They're made in China by forced slave labor. And what was Kerry's response? He said, I have to stay in my lane with that when negotiation with China officials. That's not my place to tell them how to treat their people. Said, well, we're honest about the differences, Kerry said at the time. We certainly know what they are, but that's not my lane here. My job is to be the climate guy and stay focused on trying to move the climate agenda forward. I tell you what, Joe Biden, I'll save you some money. You don't have to give me 13 million. Just give me 1. And I go talk to China about climate change. This shit, it's like a Saturday Night Live skit. It's nuts what we're doing. Since assuming the position, Kerry has engaged in various private talks with Chinese counterparts, including 2 2021 meetings that took place in China. Following a summit in 2021, Kerry told CNBC that solving climate change was not about China. This is not about China. This is about China and Russia and India and the United States. A bunch of countries that are emitting a pretty sizable amount. China accounts for about 27% of global emissions, nearly tripling the total in the U.S. The world's largest emitter, and continues to approve and construct a large amount of coal power plants as we speak. So we're just pissing away our money to John Kerry to do what? They won't even tell us what he's doing. It's this top secret agency that can just do whatever they want to do with China. Maybe he's over there trying to make sure they erase all connections between Joe Biden and his son Hunter. I'd believe that before I believe it has a damn thing to do with climate change. Speaking of the Bidens, lawyers for Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, have asked federal and state prosecutors to investigate people Hunter Biden are accusing him of allegations and accessing and sending out personal data, and also threatening Fox News host Tucker Carlson with a defamation lawsuit. Requests made in a series of criminal referrals and cease and desist letters show Hunter is adopting a more aggressive strategy against attacks and accusations from prominent conservatives and Republicans that are at the heart of the House GOP plan to investigate the president and his son. Abel Laurel, a lawyer for Hunter Biden, wrote lengthy letters to the Justice Department and the Delaware Attorney General requesting criminal inquiries into allies of former President Donald Trump, including former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani and former Trump strategist Steve Bannon, who were involved in spreading data from the laptop of Hunter Biden, said to have been left at a Delaware repair shop back in 2019. The actions described more than merit a full investigation, and depending on the resulting facts, may merit prosecution under various statutes, Laurel wrote to the Justice Department. It is not a common thing for a private person and his counsel to seek someone else being investigated, but the actions and motives here require it. The Justice Department, which is also investigating Hunter Biden for tax evasion, is under no obligation to take action on the request. The department declined to comment last night when asked by several news outlets, to include Fox. The Washington Post and ABC News reported earlier on the letters. Another lawyer for Hunter Biden, Brian Sullivan, wrote to Tucker Carlson of Fox News demanding retractions of statements made about the president's son on his program, including that he had access to classified documents found at the president's Wilmington, Delaware home. How is that not true? He lived there, and that's where they found the documents, in the garage. And he's doing deals with China on a regular basis. You're an attorney? Fucking don't represent me for shit. The laptop came to the public's attention towards the end of the 2020 presidential campaign, when the New York Post reported on emails that were found on the laptop computer relating to the younger Biden's overseas business dealings with China and Ukraine. Trump used the report against Joe Biden in his final days of his failed run for a second term. The president has denied knowledge of his son's business dealings, and his son has disputed the authenticity of material said to be on the laptop. The House Oversight Committee has scheduled a February 8th hearing that is expected to focus on the laptop and Twitter's efforts to limit access to the articles about its purported content. And I, for one, will be glued to these hearings. The hearing will be held the day after Biden delivers his State of the Union address at the Capitol, where he will tell all the American people what a great job he has done and how we are so better off today than we ever were under Donald Trump's presidency, or any president for that matter. The committee spokeswoman, Jessica Collins, said the panel did not receive word of the letters from Biden's attorneys. In addition to banning Giuliani, Hunter's attorney Lau is also seeking an investigation to Giuliani's attorney Robert Costello and the owner of the computer repair shop, John Paul Matt Isaac, who said Biden dropped off the computer but never picked it up. The letter said Matt Isaac admitted in his recent published book, American Injustice, to reviewing sensitive private material on the laptop, including a file titled income.pdf. He then passed a copy of the laptop to Costello, who shared it with Giuliani, who was acting as a personal lawyer to Trump in his efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The two letters constitute a furious legal complaint trying to intimidate. The letters reek of deception because they realize that Judgment Day is coming for the Bidens. Costello said in response to the letter, he added that a work order signed by Hunter Biden allowed Matt Isaac to examine the laptop and the hard drive, and it became his property after it was abandoned at his shop. And oh, by the way, that is 100% true. And you try and get anything else to stand up in court about that, and you're just shooting yourself in the foot. After skimming the letters, the only thing I see is a privileged person hiring yet another high-priced attorney to retract the tension away from his own unlawful actions, said Brian Della Rocca, a lawyer representing Matt Isaac. The letter also accuses Giuliani of giving the laptop to Bannon, who helped deliver its content to news media outlets. Not that it did any good, because nobody would report on it but Fox News. Ted Goodman, a spokesman for Giuliani, who called the letters an obvious attempt to silence the former mayor, raised concerns. Now? You're raising concerns now? After so many years? Indicates just how devastating the texts and videos from this laptop truly are. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Okay, I'm going to skip over this for a second and go to something that I just think is very important that you all know about right now. This is a developing story. It was first reported on today, and it is, by this time tomorrow, I'm sure it would be on every news media outlet out there. So more to come on this. Now, listen closely. Since we've been talking about China and what the U.S. generals have recently said. The United States government is monitoring a Chinese military surveillance balloon that has been moving over America these past several days. I'll repeat that. The United States government is monitoring a Chinese military surveillance balloon that has been moving over America these past several days. Pentagon spokesperson Brigadier General Pat Ryder said during a briefing this afternoon, he said the U.S. military has detected a high-altitude surveillance balloon over the continental United States and is tracking the surveillance balloon right now. The government, NORAD, which is North American Defense Command, continues to track and monitor it closely. The balloon is currently traveling at an altitude above air traffic, so it doesn't present a military or physical threat to people on the ground. Instances of this kind of balloon activity have been observed previously over the past several years. So this isn't new, although it's new for us to find out about it. Once the balloon was detected, the U.S. government and military acted immediately to protect against the collection of sensitive material. and information, General Ryder said. And the U.S. is confident that the surveillance balloon belongs to the China military. Now, you already know what I'm going to say. You already know what my suggestion is. Why in the fuck haven't we shot the balloon down? Wait till it's over an area that doesn't have a dense population and shoot the motherfucker down. What are we doing? Why are we allowing the Chinese to spy on us over American territory? We have all the right in the world to blow this son of a bitch out of the sky. But not in Biden's military. Oh, fuck no. No, we're not going to do that because, oh, why? It's China. I swear. If the Taliban was doing it, would we care? If ISIS was doing it, would we give a shit? Russia? I know I've gotten a lot of comments on my grenade cup through the years. By the way, oh, yep, it's made in China, along with every other coffee cup in America. Actually, I don't think this one is, to be honest with you. It doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure that's where it was made. Bloomberg reported yesterday that Merck and Company COVID-19 pill is giving rise to new munitions of the virus in some patients, according to a study that underscores the risk of trying to internationally alter the pathogen's genetic code. So there's a pill that came out. It's brand new, just like everything else that came out. I mean, all this whole thing is, we just automatically find a way to produce shit to put in your body. And American Company is the first company to come out with the COVID-19 pill that you can take that supposedly will help you fight off the symptoms and help you get better. I mean, that's what it's for. It's a medication to help you survive. So I guess that's a good thing. Researchers are now worried the drug may create more contagious or health-threatening variations of COVID, which has killed more than 6.8 million people globally over the past 3 years. It's horrible. Munitions linked to the use of the Merck pill have been identified in viral samples taken from dozens of patients. According to a pre-printed study from researchers in the U.S. and at Francis Crick Institute, Imperial College London, and several other UK scientists and institutions. The drug-linked munitions of the virus haven't been shown to be more immune evasive or lethal yet. So that's a good thing, according to the study published today on the MedRxiv website. So you can go there and you can read about this yourself if you'd like to. It's on the MedRxiv website. But there are very extensive highlights, with some scientists say their potential risk is wider use of the drug, which was recently cleared in where? China. The pill works by creating munitions. I'm sorry, not munitions. We're making bombs inside our bodies. No. Mutations in the COVID genome that prevent the virus from replicating in the body, reducing the chance it will cause severe illness. So if it did that, that's a good thing. Some scientists, though, are warning before it was authorized in late 2021 that by virtue of how it works, the drug could give rise to mutations that could turn out to be problematic. This report has reawakened those that are worried about the Merck drug. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details about it. I printed out a whole shit ton of stuff from their website about it. All the people that are involved with this. There's people that are looking at this at Harvard Medical School, at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston are investigating this. So a lot of big names in the scientific community with medications and vaccines and stuff like that are looking at this. And I'll give you my take from what I read. And like I say, go there and check it out yourself. But basically, what they think could happen the way it's designed. First, they're saying in this report, and like I say, read it yourself, that the pill doesn't work. Okay, that's the first thing they're saying. And the next thing they're saying is that the way it's designed for what it's supposed to do with the virus could actually make it mutate into a different virus of a different strand, not the same virus, but a different strand. And then you contaminate somebody else. And then we start spreading a new one based off of something that was supposed to help you. So that's what these scientists are saying. Look at it yourself. More will come in about this, I'm sure, in the very near future. Many news organizations starting to pick up and talk about it. It's kind of scary if you ask me. Many Americans in Texas and other border states are concerned about who is illegally entering the U.S. after Customs and Border Protection reported a spike in arrest of terrorists and sex offenders trying to cross the U.S. border. Authorities have arrested 38 known terrorists that were on the no-fly and terrorist watch list recently. And border agents apprehended 98 people from that watch list last year. So last year, 98 people that were on a no-fly list because they're known terrorists or connections with known terrorists couldn't get into America any other way, so they went the southern route to come out with the illegal immigrants. 38 were caught so far in the past 32 days. 98 were caught in 2022. And before that, only 15. Authorities along the Texas border's Del Rio sector have arrested 10 known convicted sex offenders so far just this January. We just passed 10. A total of 38 in the past 3 months, according to the sector's chief border agent, Jason D. Owens. Now, here's where the numbers start getting a little scary. A total of 488 convicted sex offenders crossed the southwest border in the U.S. in 2021, compared to 156 in 2020 and just 58 in 2019, according to the Border Patrol. Additionally, in the past just 3 months, there have been approximately 300,000 known getaways. These are illegal aliens crossing the border who were detected, but we couldn't apprehend them because we don't have enough border agents to do so. Overall, last year in 2022, there were 2.76 million illegals that were caught crossing the border. So just imagine how many were not caught. In 2021, the number was 1 million. During President Trump's 4 years in office, the total illegal crossings at the border were just over 1 million. So the liberals and Democrats out there that think that Joe Biden is doing all kinds of great stuff and that the Homeland Security freak we have that comes out and says, oh, the border's secure and there's no problems, That's not what the Border Patrol is saying. That's not what ICE is saying. That's not what the local sheriffs and city police all across the border from San Diego to fucking Brownsville, Texas are saying. They're all saying the same thing. Our border is being overrun, and we don't have the people and the manpower and the things we need to capture these folks. And known terrorists and sex offenders and drugs and sex trafficking is running rampant on our southern border, and this administration is looking the other way. This should be something that Democrats, as well as Republicans, conservatives, liberals, we all should be concerned about. I don't know of anybody who is against allowing people to come to America legally. If you're watching this show tonight, at one time, your ancestors came from someplace else, not here. They came from another country to America. Many of them went through Ellis Island, like my ancestors did. They came here legally. Unless you are 100% Indian and your family were tribes here throughout our nation, and our American forces came in and killed your families and took over your land, then you're not from here. Okay? So Democrats and liberals would like to say that Republicans aren't for, we hate anybody coming to America, and we hate, women and children and babies and Mexicans and Guatemalans and Venezuelans and all the people coming across. No. You got it wrong. We don't. We have nothing against that. Come to America. We are a melting pot. We welcome you to come here legally. There's a way to do that. There's a reason why people are trying to evade the proper way of doing it. And those reasons are for reasons that you don't want them to be your neighbor, which Donald Trump tried to explain that to you in the very beginning of running to be president. But they looked at him as a racist bigot. No. What he said was, those that are coming over here not going through the proper channels to become an American citizen or to get a work permit or a visa to come here are bad apples, my friends. They're into sex trafficking of women and children and babies, drug trafficking, gang members. They're murderers. They're rapists. They're child molesters. Those are the people we want to stop. And our Border Patrol can't do it. They're overwhelmed, for crying out loud. But the Democrats and liberals don't get that. They don't fucking get it. If you haven't seen the documentaries I did on the border, go check it out. Go to DouglasDucote.com and look at what we did, what we saw. We went down there. We talked to the Border Patrol. We talked to the Border Patrol unions. We talked to the sheriffs. We talked to the city police, the state troopers. We talked to the people that live on the border. We talked to the militia people that were down there. We actually went out and interviewed these people and showed you what was really going on. But the liberals and Democrats don't care. They don't give two shits about we, the American people. They just want things to be done legally and people to follow the law, regardless if it's coming across the border or it's protesting or it's going to a church or going to a mall or going to school. We want people to do things legal. You know you're not allowed to take a gun and go shoot up a school. Do you think the person that's doing that gives a shit about your laws? Fuck no, they don't. They knew they're not allowed to do that, and they did it anyhow because they're a criminal and they break laws. So regardless of what it is, conservatives and Republicans, and I do believe most Democrats And I'm going to go out on a limb here, since I used to be a Democrat, and say that 99% of Democrats really want this to be a safe country. And they want the same shit we want when it comes to safety and security. It's the far left liberals that are hijacking the Democrat Party that's turning it into a shit show. And sadly, too many Democrat mayors and Democrat city council members across this nation are listening to the rhetoric and making police stand down and not enforcing the laws and letting people like Antifa and the BLM and these fucking MS-13 gang members just run rampant and literally kill and destroy the American dream. The only people that come to America that are good, decent, innocent people are those that come here and go through the proper process. Now, are there some cases where there happened to be a woman and her children escaping Mexico because of drug cartel and they want a better place for their family and they don't know about the fucking right way to come through, which I showed you in my documentaries are all over the border. If you can't figure out how to get to that checkpoint to do the right thing, you're fucking been living in a dirt hut. So there are people, I'm sure, that do not know that and think the only way to do it is to trek through the desert and cross the Rio Grande and hopefully survive and evade border patrol. But that's very few. The whole kids in cages bullshit, that was all done by the Obama administration, but the Democrats and liberals wanted to think that it was Republicans did it, Trump did it. No, that's already been debunked. They don't care. Democrat Party and liberals don't care about the truth. They care about spreading fake bullshit. And they do one hell of a good job of that. And it's sad. Anyhow, you had many places to be tonight. You chose to be here with me. And thank you for doing so. I appreciate it. If you haven't already done so, please go check out DouglasDucote.com. Check out my other YouTube channel, Charlie Hotel 47. In the description of this show, once it goes up as a video, and all my videos, you can see where else you can follow me on social media. I'm on Truthsocial, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Rumble. Eventually, we will be doing only the live show on Rumble when we can get them to make sure that shit's not going to glitch up. We tried it, didn't work. We went back, we tried it again, it didn't work. Sadly, the only place that you can actually do what I do happens to be this platform, which is run by liberals, and I freaking hate it. But I don't have a choice. I can put out videos elsewhere, obviously, but to do the live show streaming like I'm doing here, this is really the only alternative that we have. So in the meantime, this is where I'm at. Folks, as always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families in our country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless each of you. Pending anything out of the ordinary, I will see you back here next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Anything breaks between now and then, I'll be sure to either do a live show about it, special report, or I'll put out a video about it. Till then, take care, everyone. God bless you, and I'll see you soon.